Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jedi Knights Watch. My name is Graham, and today we're going to be doing a video on why I love collecting hot toys. If you're new to the channel, want to invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content or live streams coming your way. This is my list on why I love collecting hot toys. There's not a whole lot of videos like this out there. Actually, I couldn't find any, so thought I would do my own. Also, stay tuned because I'm also going to do a video on why I hate collecting hot toys. So, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so the first two are going to be like my biggest reasons. And the first one is just going to be the realness factor of these 1/6 scale figures. It is amazing how much detail Hot Toys can fit into these figures. How much, like, they look actually like the people that they're representing themselves, like the soft good outfits, just the detail in like paint, wear and battle damage and stuff like that. The head sculpts are just super realistic and amazing, especially these figures that have been coming out in the last couple of years. Hot Toys is definitely getting better at the likeness as well as the paint application, but there's also some figures out there that are quite old that are still just amazing and look spot on to the representation, like Yondu, RoboCop, Terminator 2, Battle Damaged, amongst others, Obi-Wan Kenobi. But then you get the masked figures too, and it's even easier to get that real factor, that likeness, because they're wearing a helmet or something like that, and it's a lot easier to capture that. So the first reason that I love collecting this hobby is just the realness factor and just looking at these figures and just being in awe of how damn cool they are. The second reason that I love collecting Hot Toys is the childhood nostalgia. This is like, it's a great hobby because you can actually collect things from your childhood that make you feel a certain way, and they bring back certain memories from when you were a kid. And I think we can all like remember fond things of growing up, and for me, I loved watching movies. I love superheroes, action movies and stuff like that. And for me, the fact that this is almost like a glimpse into my childhood is a reason I love collecting Hot Toys. I was big on Star Wars. I was big on Batman, Terminator, RoboCop, amongst other movies. It's just amazing that we're able to get these representations in our hands and be able to display them in our house, and then just seeing them all mixed together, like it's your childhood, TMNT, it's your childhood in like a cabinet. So it brings back so many awesome feelings and memories. And not only do these figures remind me of those times, but they also remind me of family, like my dad, or seeing these movies with friends and just remembering those people in my life as well. So that's another huge reason that I love collecting Hot Toys. The next one kind of piggybacks off of the childhood nostalgia, and it's just being able to have that representation of pop culture movies. It's just a cool hobby to have. Like, if you love movies like I do, it's great to be able to have representation of your favorite movies growing up. Like, watching movies is a hobby in its own right, but now the fact that you can have figures from all your favorite movies and just kind of build that pop culture sense, I guess, is just really amazing to be able to do. The next reason I love collecting Hot Toys is being able to build a display that fits who I am and is unique to me and different from everybody else. You'll never find two collections, two displays the exact same. Everybody has their own way of thinking, their own way of like looking at things, and their own interests. And I think just being able to build my display to how I want it and how it will represent who I am is a reason I love collecting, and never being satisfied and always just trying to make it better, improve it. And the display itself is just something that when it comes together is really cool to sit and even admire. Might sound kind of weird, but you guys out there watching, you know what I'm talking about. You just sit there and you just look at your stuff and you're like, this is really cool. And being able to tailor your display and your collection to who you are. The next reason I love collecting Hot Toys is posability. You know, that's an easy one, right? You know, the fact that you can have these super realistic pop culture figures and you can pose it to how you want it within reason. I think that is an amazing thing. You know, it's kind of like having an action figure from when you're a kid, but these things are like on steroids. They're super realistic, they're bigger, a lot of detail, and you can pose them how you want. And the thing is, if you ever get sick of a figure, maybe in the pose that it's in, you can always just repose it, and it's almost like having a totally different figure. You know, you can have it in such a different look. I've had Spider-Man in like a museum pose, kind of standing there like a strong stance, but then you put him into like a running and jumping pose, a dynamic pose, and it totally changes the figure. And I love that about Hot Toys, is just being able to make a figure look totally different by just changing the pose that it's in. The next reason I love collecting Hot Toys is because there's no rules on how to collect. You can collect your own way, whether that be getting one figure a year or 10 figures a month. However you collect, there's no right or wrong. It's up to you. If you want to put them on a shelf, you can do that. If you want to put them in behind glass or plexiglass, you can do that. If you want to have Star Wars mixed up with Batman and RoboCop or something, you can do that. There's no rules. There's no right or wrong. You go at your own pace. It's a marathon. It's not a race. And I love the fact that it's your personal hobby and you can take this journey to where you want to go with it. And I think there's seasons to collecting as well. So I think sometimes we are able to collect more, and then other times, like, you know, in the recession, we have to pull back. And I think that's totally fine. I think if you have one figure, you know, you're just as much of a collector as somebody that has 50 figures and 50 to, you know, 800 figures. So I really, really like that. I love that about the hobby. The next reason I have is kind of changed over the last year or so, and it's because the world has changed too, but I'm still going to keep this in because I do think eventually it will correct itself. But the figures can rise in value. When I got into this hobby, you could buy whatever you wanted and know, for the most part, 95% of the time, that figure, if it didn't gain value, would at least hold its value and you could get out from under it. Now we have to be super, super careful about buying these figures because, you know, they're losing value. People are kind of selling to get money or move on to the next figure. You know, there's a lot of pre-orders out there, but I'm going to keep this in there because there are still some figures that go way up in value. And then I think as soon as they sell out, not as soon, but typically when they sell out from retail stores, you know, they'll kind of gain value because people want them or they're harder to find. But for the most part in this community, your figures will rise in value. Again, asterisk here. It hasn't happened over the last year for a lot of figures, but it still can happen, and I believe it still will happen in the future. And the last reason that I love collecting Hot Toys, I love this hobby, is just the friends that I've made, the people I've met in the community. I love doing YouTube and interacting with you guys out there, talking figures, talking about this awesome and unique hobby. Lots of great relationships out there. And if you haven't left me a comment or reached out to me, feel free. You can do it on IG or you can do it right here down below. You know, let's talk about figures. Let's talk about what you love about the hobby. I'd love to hear from you because, again, that's what this is all about. I love interacting with the people in the hobby. And yeah, hopefully you like this list. Let me know if you have anything to add to the list. Maybe you have different reasons that you love collecting Hot Toys. I'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned for the reasons why I hate collecting, because that's coming next. So there's reasons I love this hobby and there's reasons I hate it. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.